I shop online a lot. Now, it's not really for me. Usually I'm shopping for one of my personal styling clients, or sometimes my family or a friend reaches out and they're looking for something that they need and they know this is what I do, so I shop for them online and send them ideas for what I think would work for them. So in this video, I'm sharing the 10 things that I think about and I do in practice when I am shopping online. And if you follow these 10 tips that I'm sharing in today's video, when you're shopping online, it's probably likely that you will end up loving a lot more of the items that you're buying and having to do a lot less returns. So usually I don't think it's a great idea in general for most of us anyway, to just randomly look online and go to sites and not really have an idea of what you're looking for when you're shopping. It's a lot easier to shop online when you actually have a shopping list. So a shopping list is what I recommend to all my clients, and I recommend to anyone who really just wants to find what they're missing in their closet and fill those gaps so that it's easy to get dressed every morning or wherever you're going. So on your shopping list, you want to have things that you find you're missing. And let's say you put an outfit together, but you don't have any shoes that work with that outfit, or all of your bags are statement bags or pops of color, so you don't have a bag that goes with that outfit. So whatever you're missing, it goes on your shopping list. If you're going to an event and you don't have a jacket that would work or a layer that would work with whatever you're wearing that day, it's highly likely that you need that item. And if it's an item that keeps coming up again and again and again, this is probably something that should be on your shopping list. So whenever I shop online, I shop with a shopping list. And when I'm shopping online for clients, the first thing I do after I go through my closet edit with them is I find out what is missing from their wardrobe, and then I have a shopping list based on what they need to have a complete and functional wardrobe. When you're shopping for items online, and this is also something that I think easily applies when you're shopping in person as well, but does the item fit your shopping criteria, or does it fit your style criteria? So when I talk about criteria, I'm talking about the things that you really feel great in. So sometimes what I find when I'm working with someone, I go in their closet and they might have a lot of one color in their wardrobe because they love color or they love the specific color. But a lot of times what I find is that a lot of those items, that's the only thing that fits with their style, the color. But the actual item itself, maybe it's not high quality, or it's not a style that they actually feel great in. It's not a cut that they love and works with their body. So when you're talking about criteria, your criteria might be a color or a range of colors that you really like. But what I have found in over 16 years of styling hundreds of people, one criteria is usually not going to make an item that you love. So look for several things that are things you identify with that you feel confident in. So an easy exercise to figure out what your criteria is go to your closet and pull out your favorite 3 items. And look at the 3 items. And sometimes I always like to have a notebook nearby. I think writing notes down can really be a great way to have more awareness about your closet. But when you look at these 3 items that you love, that are your go-tos, that you feel great and confident in, what are the things about them? Is it a color? Is it a certain style? Is it the quality of the item? Is it a certain cut? Is it a certain fit? What is it about this item? That's how you're going to come up with your criteria. What are the things that are your must-have, your deal breakers? If an item doesn't have these 3 or 4 things, then it's an absolute no. So when you're shopping online, it's really helpful to go by these criteria. Your personal criteria. What is going to work for you? It can make decisions really easy and take the emotion out of shopping, which for most of us, shopping is an emotional experience. Sometimes what I find is that we compromise what we actually want. So if we think we need something or we have somewhere to go and we are looking for an item, we kind of convince ourselves that it's the right item. If you follow your shopping criteria and you look at the things that are must-haves for you before bringing an item into your closet, it can make a really easy decision on whether an item you find online is a yes or a no. Know your personal style. So not the style you used to have or the style you hope to one day have. What makes you feel confident and good today? So once you know what your personal style is, and I always say most of us, We might have one, two, even three or four different elements of personal style types that we resonate towards. Then you can look at an item more objectively. You can look at an item and say, okay, well, if my style is classic and minimal, and I'm looking at this item and I think I like it, but it has this really bright pattern, well, does that work with classic and minimal? No. So this is a great way to, again, just look at something more objectively. I think for most of us when we're shopping, whether it's online or in store, there could be things going on internally that we may or may not be aware of that are making us want to buy an item. So what I have found to be super helpful when you're shopping online is to be more objective. So when you're looking at an item, does it work with your personal style? When I'm shopping online for a client, I am looking at certain brands. Now, some of those brands will work for numerous clients, but a lot of times I'm actually tweaking those brands based on each individual person. So, what their lifestyle is, what their needs are. These are some of the things that will determine the brands that work for them. If you don't know your brands, again, a simple exercise you can start with is look at the pieces you love in your closet now. Look at the brands of those pieces. See if there's brands that come up again and again and again of those pieces that you love. And it's also like anything else in life. If this is something you want to make seamless and effortless in your life, online shopping or in-person shopping, start to pay attention. What are the brands that you feel best in? What are the brands that the sizing works for you? The style of the brands work for you. The quality of the brands work for you. The price tag of the brands work for you. So start to take in these things when you're considering what are your brands. This is a big one for me, and this was one that I learned the hard way. But does it have a return policy? And is it a good return policy? So when you're shopping online, you want to be able to see the item in person. You want to be able to touch it. You want to be able to try it on. You want to make sure it looks and feels the same as you think it does when you see it online. So if it doesn't have a return policy, I will not buy it. The one exception is if I've tried that item on in a store somewhere and I've loved it and it's on my shopping list, it meets my criteria, it fits my personal style, and I find it online. Say I find it online and it's on sale. That's the only time I will buy something online that doesn't have a good return policy. I have gone in so many closets and seen so many items hanging there with the tags on that were purchases that my clients bought that they couldn't return. They were final sale items. They thought they were getting a great deal. They bought the item online. When they opened the box, when they got it, it didn't look anything like it did online. It didn't fit right, and they were stuck with it. So I'm guessing most of you, if not all of you, have experienced this at least once in your life. But that is not a great feeling. You're just throwing your money away. So when you're shopping online, make sure you can return the item. Another thing I like to do when I'm shopping online, say I'm looking at an item and maybe I'm not sure how it fits, or I haven't seen it in person, or I'm not familiar with the brand. If I'm shopping for a client and I think an item will work for them, but I'm not completely sure, I will read the reviews. So a lot of times, a lot of sites will have reviews. So other people that have bought the item, tried the item, a lot of times it'll tell you about the fit, if it ran big, if it ran small, the quality. You can really learn a lot by reading the reviews. So if you haven't seen an item in person and you're not sure what it's gonna look like live, read the reviews. It's a great way to know whether or not this item is worth trying. Another thing I always do, again, when I'm looking at an item, maybe I'm not familiar with the brand, or now even some of the brands that I've been using for years, they've changed a lot of their fabrics. So what I'm having to do and what I'm choosing to do and what I recommend you do when you're shopping online is read the descriptions of each item very carefully. So most, if not all, websites will have descriptions of each item. Some of the things I look for is what is the fabric it's made out of? That's a big one for me because I'm looking for quality pieces, both for myself and for my clients. I don't want to get something if it's not in a great fabric. And especially too, I'm looking at the price of something. So sometimes things will be marked down or there'll be a lower price point, but the item will look great in a photo because a lot of times they do in photos. But when you read the description, it will tell you a lot more. It'll tell you what the fabric is. It'll tell you if the item is lined, if it's something like a dress. It'll tell you measurements of the item. So these are really important things to consider and take in when you're deciding whether or not you want to try an item at home. And for me, and I recommend this for anyone who's really looking to have a capsule wardrobe or just have high quality pieces in their closet that they'll have for years, I always look at the quality of the item. So a lot of times you're not going to be able to see the quality of an item in a photo. They have full production teams that are styling the pieces and professional photographers doing the photos. And if you're not familiar with the brand or the actual item, a lot of times you're not going to know what it's going to look like in person. You're not going to be able to touch it or feel it. So you want to look at what the quality is. What is this item made out of? Is it made out of good quality fabrics and materials, or is it not? That is a huge component that I look at. And like I was mentioned earlier, some of the brands that I used to rely on and knew that they always used high quality, they've changed their fabrics to lesser quality. So now I read all the descriptions. Another thing you can learn from the description is the care instructions. So if you're shopping online and you see an item and so far it fits your criteria, it fits your style, it's on your shopping list, it's high quality, it fits all these other things, look at the care instructions. If it says dry clean only, if it says hand wash only, if you're not willing to follow the care instructions, it's not going to end up being a piece in your closet that's going to last, and it's going to keep its shape and look as good as it did when you first got it. So make sure you're willing to follow whatever care instructions an item has before you purchase it. I never shop from my phone. I want to be able to see whatever I'm looking at as big as possible so that I can see all the details about it. So when I'm shopping for clients, when I'm shopping for myself online, I'm number one, I'm looking at my computer screen because it's way bigger than my phone. And number two, I even zoom in because I want to see the details of an item. What is the fit? A lot of times, say it's a blouse or a button-up shirt, I will look at the back photo as well. I look at all the photos that they provide. If you zoom in on the item, and you look at all the photos, especially if they have the model wearing the item and they're walking in it, because you can actually see how the item lays on the body, how it moves with the person. It really gives you a lot of information and you can get more of an idea if this item is something that you want to try. Shopping online for clothes isn't always the easiest. It takes practice, it takes paying attention, and it takes a lot of trial and error. But knowing how to shop, whether online or in person, is such a valuable skill that it's actually part of my Love Your Style course. So right now, this course for a limited time, it is available. It's pre-recorded sessions. It is available. I will leave the link up above and down in the description box. I walk you through how to edit your closet, declutter your closet. I'm actually giving you the steps so you're doing it while you're watching the videos. You're not just gonna watch the video and just sit and just observe. This is actually something that I walk you through to take action. It's what I would be doing with you if I was working with you one-on-one. This course will take you from a closet that you may not feel great about or you don't really love or feel confident in or know how to style to having a functional closet where everything hanging in your closet is something that you love and you know how to style and you feel confident in. So again, I will leave that link up above and down in the description box. This course will only be available for a short time before it's closing. I will see you guys next week.